Hi, Will from Fologram here. In this tutorial, we're going to cover using the track scan component to get the room scan from the HoloLens into Grasshopper so that you can work with it in your parametric models. We've found this really useful for performing fabrication type workflows where you really want to know whether or not the space that you might be building something in is going to be big enough to move the parts of your object around, upstairs, between columns, through doors, things like that. Incredibly useful. It's a really low resolution scan, so it's not so useful for replacing, say, a Kinect or photogrammetry or LiDAR scanners, but it does give you, enough data to get a sort of an approximate scale of different objects in your mixed reality environment. So working with the track scan component is really simple. We'll connect up our headset. So in the Fologram Interact menu, Track 3D Scan is the component that we want to use. We drop that down, and it's a little bit different to the other components that we've looked at so far because it has a request button. So we've actually got two different inputs here, slightly different ways of performing the same thing. So we've got a request button that we can click on, and when we click that button, it'll sort of request the scan from the headset, which will be then sent over to Grasshopper. And it can take a little while depending on how large your scan is. Sometimes these scan meshes get up to hundreds of megabytes. Or we can prompt a request using this P input here. So that means that you can parametrically request an update of scan data as you need it, though there can be a bit of a delay, again, because it's a very large geometry sometimes, between the prompt and this component actually updating. So I'm going to hit request here. In this room, not very much scan data. I haven't walked around very much. This is what the HoloLens has seen. And that comes straight into Rhino, or into Grasshopper, sorry, and it's at 1:1 scale. It's pretty standard list of mesh geometries. So the HoloLens partitions this mesh data, and you get that in Grasshopper. So if you want to work with it, you can join those meshes together. Just simplifies things a little bit. And then, for instance, we can just send them back to the HoloLens, which will preview the scan over the environment that we're in. Now, if you get up and walk around, or in my case, I'm just going to look around a little bit more, and then hit request again. See, from me looking around, it's updated that scan data, and it's sent it back to the HoloLens thanks to my little parametric model. You can always bake these meshes into Rhino and use them in your model just like any other piece of geometry.